Hello, Peter.
Fuck Batman.
Now!
I don't do requests. It's showtime.
Hello, and welcome back to Small Screen Stories. I hope you guys are all doing very well. Before I get started, if you could like and subscribe, that'd be wonderful. If you're watching this and you haven't already, you probably have done. There are 9 of you watching, but we are doing a massive push at the moment to try and finally get to 1,000 subscribers. So any help would be much welcome. If you have friends, family, get anyone you know to subscribe so you can get to that 1,000 mark. Because once we get to that mark, then it becomes, well, just a lot easier to grow. For some reason, that's the way YouTube works. But I hope you guys are all doing very well. We're going to be talking about Shang-Chi today. We're going to be talking a bit about that, how it's doing. The Eternals is where we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Matrix Resurrections as well. The trailer just released. There are lots of video games as well that I wanted to talk about tonight because there are lots of video games that were announced that are Marvel related, and they're pretty cool. There's also a Star Wars one that I want to talk about. I wanted to also say hello to everyone in the chat. So hello to Reese, hello there, and hello to Kazakhs as well. James isn't actually here at the moment. He might be later on, so we might not be able to do too many. What are they called? Memes. Little clips that James likes to bring in. But one person we do have with us today is Clint. How are you doing, Clint?
Hey, how's it going, Edward? It's good to see you back in your place, or is this a
No. This is still the same. It's still in Italy. So we're leaving we're starting the trek back to Paris on Sunday. And it's going to take us a week to get there because it's a 20-hour drive. So we've split it up into like little segments. So
dude, the lighting in your with those shelves is so fantastic. I was like, dude, you must be back home. Looking good, man.
Yeah, we've been working away on the flat, so it's looking good, and it's still a bit empty the other side of the flat, which is why it's so echoey. But yeah, we're getting there. We're gonna tear down walls and stuff like that, so it's gonna be fun.
Cool.
But how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I've been doing fantastic on my own channel. I've been doing the What If Versus show, and I've seen a lot of people from small screen popping over also on Answering for a Friend, and I'm like, wow, all the small screen people are coming over and supporting me on the side, and I really appreciate that. So I just want to say thanks to anybody who's checked that stuff out. And like Edward said, we need to get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers, guys. So just hit the streets. Just start, sir. Subscribe. Just go out there and just spread the word and share the stuff on social media. It really helps, especially if you see a good show and you enjoy the episode. Put it up on social media. It helps. But yeah, I'm stoked to see everybody here.
Go over there and hit the fucking like button. All right, you hit it now. You motherfucking hit the fucking like. I just told you to hit the motherfucking like button. So you gotta do it right now. Do it.
Yeah.
I'm also fired up, dude. I've been talking about this for months and months and months, but it's starting to happen. Like they've been holding back the good stuff for a long time, and we've had a lot of mediocre movies and things, and I feel like now we're getting to the end of the year, things are kind of getting back to normal, and I feel like we're just gonna get like just spitballed with tons and tons of awesome movies and shows, and it's all gonna happen. So it's gonna be an adrenaline rush for the rest of the year, I feel.
Some major spitballing is coming our way.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means,
right,
but it sounds fun.
Me neither. Let's say hello to everyone in the chat. So Dan Zig 1979 is here saying evening all. Bobby Anderson is here as well saying hey everybody.
Hey.
Kazakhs, we've already said hello to Kazakhs. Hello there. Kazakhs then says hello to Bobby. Who else do we have in the chat? Jedi Master EJ is here saying hello there. Let me bring that up for you. It's really difficult to do all of this on your own. This is why we have a producer who's absent at the moment. He puts on so many here.
Hello there.
There you go. That's for you. It took a while to get to. And then Reese75 says I popped into Clint's show a few weeks ago and explained what Nando's is. Oh, so are you UK based then, Reese. Maybe I knew that before, but yes, Nando's is a chicken. It's a very strange. It's a Portuguese chicken restaurant that's actually South African, so it's a bit weird, but it's really good.
Do y'all have Popeyes over there?
No, we don't have Popeyes.
You gotta
but
try
we
some
have
Popeyes.
Nando's, which is better. Charlie Wilson's in the chat saying, "I'm so excited for this next phase." Yes, we're going to be talking about phase. I think the next phase is phase 5. We're currently in phase 4. And Jedi Master EJ says, "Nice shirt, Clint."
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Did you see this?
I saw that. Yes. I think we should start selling those.
I think so too.
Yeah, and Jonathan Barr's in the chat as well says, "Hi guys, hi Jonathan. I hope you're doing well." And Danzig, yes, there's a cheeky Nando's, no less. That's what we say in the UK. It's like we're gonna have a cheeky Nando's. Let's go and have a cheeky Nando's. And we are getting Wendy's in the UK. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Wendy's is coming over to the UK. This is weird because I've been talking about, before we start talking about the serious stuff. In Italy, there aren't many fast food chains. The only ones they really have are McDonald's, and I think they have Burger King in some places, but they don't have like Pizza Hut because this is the home of pizza. They only have one Starbucks, for instance. And I was talking to Alessia's family about fast food chains, and I was trying to explain what Five Guys was, because Five Guys is my favorite. It always has been. It's quite expensive for a fast food chain, but I really, really love it. And they were just like, they'd looking at me like, what are you talking about? So you go in there and you choose your own burger, basically. And I was like, yeah, that's basically what it is. It's really good. And it made me miss Five Guys so much. So the minute I go back to Paris, I'm going to Five Guys. It's the only one. There's no, like, I think in America there's one called In-N-Out Burger, which is meant to be really good.
Whataburger,
I've never
man.
been there.
Whataburger.
Is it all about Whataburger?
If you're from Texas, it's all about Whataburger. In-N-Out moved here recently. Five Guys is good. There's actually a lot of good burger places here.
Yeah,
Lots.
I think I've been to LA twice, and both times everyone told me to go to In-N-Out Burger, and I just couldn't find it. I think because I was in Hollywood at the time, which isn't anywhere near where the In-N-Out Burger is, and I didn't realize how difficult it is to get around LA without a car.
There's one. If you ever go to LA and you go to Hollywood, stay at the Roosevelt Hotel that's supposed to be haunted. That's where Almost Famous was filmed. And next door, on the 3rd floor, there's supposed to be a mirror that belonged to Marilyn Monroe, and it's supposed to be haunted. And right next door is In-N-Out Burger. So I'd always stay there. Know that all kinds of crazy shenanigans with like Led Zeppelin and all kinds of crazy. It has a crazy Hollywood history at this hotel, Roosevelt Hotel.
What's it called?
The Roosevelt Hotel.
Hotel.
Yeah, and next door, and you've seen there's a lot of movies that have been filmed there, so it's kind of cool. But next door is In-N-Out Burger, so that's what we would do. We'd do that and get up and go eat lunch at In-N-Out Burger, and then hit the road.
Okay, because the one I was told about, the hotel in Los Angeles, I was told about was the Cecil Hotel, which apparently has more murders in it than any other hotel in the world.
Then you don't want to stay at that hotel. Statistically, it's a bad idea. That's funny.
Exactly. Let's have a look at what people say in the chat now after all that stuff. Sean Harrigan is in the chat saying, greetings to all small screeners. Isaiah's in the chat saying, sup. That's a very cool, is that?
That's Paul.
Paul Walker, isn't it? And yes, that's pretty cool. Edit James to being the you sob from Predator. You son of a bitch. And then Jedi Master EJ says, fast food is so bad for you, but sometimes it's so good. Yeah, exactly. I just have a craving for it now. And I don't eat much fast food at all. But as Kazakh says, Edward needs Five Guys or nothing. I've just got a craving for it recently. And then Charlie says, so you're going to get a burger and leave with a ghost? Interesting. And Danzig brings up, yes, we do. We have Hamada Burger. Of course. And we can end the fast food chat on that. It's a bit of a weird way to start the show. But you know what? I wanted to change things up a bit and do something a bit different. But yeah, I think we should start off about talking about Shang-Chi. Or Shang-Chi, I think it's called.
Shang-Chi, yeah.
Shang-Chi. And you sent me a rather interesting article earlier today about first off, its success at the box office. and how that success might transition into Eternals, them doing the same sort of thing, or even having a theatrical only release for the Eternals. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the name is escaping me, but he was the editor for the Hollywood Reporter that posted a thing on online. He's got a newsletter that he puts out. He's the one who said that what he's hearing is that now the Eternals is going to be theater only because Shang-Chi did so well in the theater. I mean, they had a $90 million 4-day run on this Labor Day weekend, 90 million, which blew the doors off of all the expectations, and clearly they're stoked about it, you know. Chapek called it an experiment. I think the experiment went well because they're gonna. It looks. Now this isn't confirmed. This isn't a press release from Disney. They haven't said it, but that's what the insiders who are pretty known to be accurate are saying. So that's pretty cool. I think that's great. Especially the names and people you have involved in this movie, and I wouldn't like them to get screwed like ScarJo did. And I would imagine there's some big names. I would imagine they would be able to renegotiate something, or who knows. But again, I like the idea of movies going to theaters. I like the ideas of theaters making money and everybody making money. And I think it's good. I think it's really good news. And I'm glad people are getting back out and going to the movies.
Yeah, you kept on sending me the same article, being like Shang-Chi overtook Rob Zombie's Halloween's Labor Day weekend record. I didn't even know that film held that record. I was quite surprised.
It's funny the way marketing goes and the way and so you you have to find a way to sell your movie. When you're in or whatever it is you're selling. So people like to get statistics, and they will make a statistic, the fastest left-handed pitch ever, and you know what I mean, it'll be something. So it's like the greatest Labor Day weekend. Well, Labor Day weekend, people barbecue. They don't go to the movies. They hang out in the yard and hang out at home. Now this is a weird year, but people don't go to the movies, so nobody releases movies during Labor Day weekend. So they're like, but they gotta sell it. So they go, smashes the Labor Day weekend. You're not gonna have Titanic. You're not gonna have Transformers. You're not gonna have a Marvel movie being released on Labor Day weekend. There's no blockbusters released on Labor Day ever. But this year, they're able to say the biggest Labor Day weekend in history, even before the pandemic. It is the greatest, So I mean, they're selling the movie. They need whatever publicity they can get. And I understand what they're doing. I think it's funny. I'm like, the greatest Labor Day weekend. You know what I mean? I think it's humorous if you realize, if you look, you're like, oh, I see what they did there. But in a pandemic, it means something, that people are going to the movies and they're doing $90 million in a 4-day run. That's really good. So that it really does mean something. But the publicist has clearly designed this, this headline. It's pretty funny.
Well, especially when the movie that it beat is Halloween, and it's like not even the latest Halloween. It was Rob Zombie's Halloween, which came out some time ago. And I was a bit like, I don't even know how much money that movie ended up making, but I don't think it made a huge amount. Probably made quite a lot for a Halloween movie. I don't know, but it's a bit not disingenuous, because it is a record that it's broken, and it's good that it's breaking these records because we are in the middle of a pandemic. But other movies that have come out, so I think Fast and Furious 9 is still the highest performing movie at the box office since the pandemic began, right? And that I am right in saying that.
I don't know. I don't know if Shang-Chi beat Fast F9 or not. It might have.
Did.
I need to look.
Did it? Maybe it did. Real quick, but I mean, it would be good if it did, because Fast 9 is terrible, but I don't know. Something tells me it didn't.
I did like that Rob Zombie's statement was he was
Yes.
he it was a very nice statement he posted on Instagram, and he says it took 14 years, but it finally happened. Big Mike was knocked out of the top spot by Kung Fu Master. 14 years is a pretty good run. Thumbs up, Rob Zombie. And he's working on a Monsters reboot, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, I
So
heard that.
I like.
Heard it's really.
Yeah, I like Rob Zombie a lot. Yeah, I think he's cool. I think it's cool for a musician who's just a cool musician anyway. He's always done his own thing and been a horror guy, and then he got to go from music into making films. And I back the dude completely. I think even if I don't love his all of his movies, I still think he's cool. I like people that are living their dream. Clearly, he loves horror, so I'm glad he's doing it. But anyway, let's get back on track. I didn't mean to go off on a zombie rant.
That's fine. I mean, Rob Zombie is first off, the fact that he's doing a Monsters reboot is really weird, but I quite like it. Yeah, like Rob Zombie his movies are what they are. You know, he knows his wheelhouse. You don't have to be a fan of his to appreciate, his kind of shtick, which is what it is. A Rob Zombie movie is a bit of shtick. What was the one? Was it the House of 1,000 Corpses or something? Or
House of 1,000 Corpses.
That was the one that I watched, and I was a bit like, oh god, I'm not really on the Rob Zombie train, and I do love horror. It's not my kind of horror, but he sounds like a very nice guy. Interestingly enough, it seems that a lot of horror directors tend to be very nice people. It's like they make these messed up films, and then they you interview them or you hear like really nice stories about them. So he seems to be one of those guys.
Yeah, he looks like, I have a good friend who's a horror film director. He's the nicest human being ever. But he's like, let's just split this head open and put guts and blood everywhere. But he's like the nicest guy ever, Pretty hilarious.
So the other bit of news about Shang-Chi that I found out earlier that I actually didn't tell you about, which I'm going to spring on you now, is that apparently there are reports that the movie won't come out in China at all. And that's because directly of Simu Liu's some comments he made back in the day, not back in the day, but a couple of years back, about China specifically, calling it a third world country that lets its people starve to death. And because of those comments, it looks like the movie won't at all be released in China, which is a massive blow for a film like Shang-Chi, which is, championing Asian characters, and also for its overall box office, it's not very good because the film probably would have done okay over in China. And it also means that Eternals might not be able to come out in China. And Eternals has got its own problems as far as China's concerned. We talked about it before with Chloe Zhao and how she's not the most loved Chinese director in China. So what do you think about all of it? Do you think this might be a problem for Phase 5 in the MCU, China specifically?
I mean, they're not going to make as much money, but I think it's funny. Chloe Zhao, there's a couple of things with her. One of them is she got misquoted, and I don't remember specifically the quote, but it was like, it was something like she said, maybe it was like China is my country, or I think it was America is not my country, but they said America is my country. Like they and it was in regards to her being Chinese, and she said America is my, and so China was like, okay, screw you then, if you want to write off China, and there's a couple of things, but that's not even her fault. But she said a couple of things similar. But anyway, China is a huge market, man. It's a huge market. They're losing money, but you got to run your business. You got to release your movies, and you can't just not release Marvel movies because certain country is not going to play ball. You just gotta do what you can, and there's the rest of the world is going to buy those Marvel movies up. So you just do the best you can and completely blow as much smoke and kiss up to the Chinese government the best you can. And hopefully they'll let you in. But if they don't, you just got to make money elsewhere. I mean, that's all you can really do.
It does look to me, though, as though Disney is really kind of really doing some serious butt kissing as far as China's concerned. I think the release of Mulan was that was. I was watching that movie. First off, the movie's terrible. Secondly, they thank the Chinese government at the end of the film, and they also filmed in an area where there's. I'm not going to go into politics right now, but there's a lot of. They filmed in an area where there's a lot of bad stuff going on, and the Chinese government is covering a lot of stuff up. And to me, like Disney is always going to try and make as much money as they possibly can, and the way they're going to do that is by making movies that are more popular in China. Well, I think one of the main reasons why they wanted to buy 20th Century Fox so much was because of Avatar, specifically, because Avatar did so well in China. So I'm thinking if these movies, Shang-Chi and Eternals are two of Marvel's biggest films. Like Shang-Chi is Marvel's biggest film coming out at the moment. Eternals is going to be very big for them, possibly could have made over $1 billion. Now, if it doesn't come out in China, it won't get that money. It won't reach that much, unfortunately, because it's a huge market that they just won't be in. If all of this, politics is surrounding the movies, I just worry a bit for the MCU in the future, because all the other films, they were all coming out in China, no problem. They were making a lot of money over there. Like the Avengers films made a lot of money over there. So it's a bit of a worry, because I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige and everyone involved at Marvel will want those movies to be out in every single territory so they can make as much money as possible. And
well,
Simu Liu, I agree with him, but he needs to. I like the fact that he's very vocal, but if he wants to play the game, maybe he needs to start retracting some of his comments.
Yeah. Well, look. You look at this. You've got a movie with a Chinese cast and storyline, and then you have another movie with a Chinese director, and so these are Americanized. These are Americanized Chinese people or Canadians, and so China is saying, okay, no, how many more MCU films are going to be directed by a Chinese person who said something that the Chinese government doesn't like? How many more hopefully a bunch, because I really enjoyed Shang-Chi, but I'm just saying, statistically speaking, like you're not going to get a whole bunch more Chinese Marvel films. We're going to have another Shang-Chi, or we're going to see him in the Avengers, or something. We'll see some more of that. So maybe that character Shang-Chi could affect things if he's in an Avengers movie or something like that. But I'm saying this was a time in history right now where a whole bunch of people that have pissed off the Chinese government have just happened to put some movies out, and so they're losing money there, but they're also just made a buttload of money on Free Guy. Free Guy got a week's notice and got a release in China, and they put that out. It's doing well. Marvel and Disney are going to make their money. It's just so happens. They could have said no, we're not gonna do business with Chinese people because the government gives us a bunch of money, but of course they're not going to do that. They're going to support all cultures, all people, and so we got some amazing films. We got probably the greatest Marvel, according to what the people in the halls of Marvel's, what I keep hearing on every podcast and YouTube. Everyone is saying, hey, this is going to be the best. Feige's stoked about this, and I loved Shang-Chi. I absolutely loved that movie. I thought it was fantastic. It had cool wuxia elements. It had action, Rumble in the Bronx, Jackie Chan stuff. It had fighting. And I have a whole theory on that movie too. I'm trying to decide if I want to make a video about it or go off on a rant here. But it was fantastic.
Can do both.
Yeah, I may do both. But like Tony Leung was awesome. Aquafina was awesome. Simu Liu was. In fact, I have Aquafina in the studio with me. If you wanna,
yeah.
If I can pipe her in here, I'm gonna put her in here.
Okay.
Aquafina, how are you doing? Oh man, I'm so glad you could join us. Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Oh, that's great. Awesome. All right. Well, hey, I got to get back to small screen. Thanks for popping in. So it was, I loved the movie. I loved Aquafina was really good. My brother came onto my show the other day and we talked about it. But yeah, she was a really nice, lighthearted touch. to the movie and just made it fun. Every time she was
Yeah.
on screen, she was hilarious, and it was fun. It was a good movie. So yeah. So there you go.
I mean, it sounds the only thing I worry about is the fact that Simu Liu is going to be one of. I mean, he's going to be one of the Avengers moving forward. Like, there's no doubt
yeah.
about that.
Did you finally see it, or did
Not
you
yet.
read spoilers up?
No, I've actually managed to stay away somehow. I don't know how I've done it, but I've managed to stay away from spoilers on the movie, and I haven't been able to see it here yet because everything's in Italian. So I'll watch it. Literally the minute I get back to Paris, I'll try and go and watch it because I really want to. I really want to see this movie in the cinema specifically. I don't want to wait and watch it on Disney Plus. So yeah, hopefully it'll still be out in cinemas. In France, they're very protective of their cinema chains, and movies have a longer release window here before they go out on Disney Plus. So yeah, hopefully it'll still be on.
He's going to become it'd be part of the Avengers. He was in the comic books, and also he's a powered human who's super skilled and powered, and now he's got the 10 rings. So he's like anybody that's got like ends up popping into anybody extraordinary, even if you don't have powers, but you could shoot a bow well, you end up in the Avengers. So of course.
Let's go and have a look at the comments.
Cool.
Reese75 says Edward only watches Italian Spider-Man. That's not true. My Italian's not good enough yet. Curtis says you didn't miss anything, Ed.
Curtis doesn't like Shang-Chi. He's like less than 1%. It's got the highest. It's the highest rated Marvel movie of all time with audience score. It's got a 98%. It's even more than Endgame, and he's less than 1%. They've what was it? It was 98 with 5,000 confirmed viewers. That was when I saw it, looked up the stats the other day, but it's the highest rated audience score ever of any Marvel movie. I mean, I'm not saying Curtis is wrong. I'm just saying 5,000 other people think Curtis is wrong.
And Raj says, if we're doing spoilers for Shang-Chi today, I might have to duck out. I haven't seen it yet. No, we're not doing spoilers for Shang-Chi because I haven't seen it either. So when I've seen it, it'll be, probably very late, but I will, late as far as the movie came out a while ago, but we will do a spoilers, commentary or, talk about the movie and spoil everything and just talk about it in depth. You'll probably have to watch it again, Clint, before we do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And we've got people watching over on Twitch. So hi, we've got Ota QQ. Hey, Atriok. I don't know, maybe that's a Twitch thing, but hi, it's nice to know that people are watching over on Twitch. We've been streaming out on Twitch for months and no one seems to watch over there. So it's nice that there are some people. And Curtis won't give this up. He says just a bunch of people feeding the mediocrity beast.
He's just trying. He's just trying to get hate clicks on our next stream. That's all. Curtis, that's not how you sustain a long career. You want to do positivity.
What I wanted to talk about next, I might have to save until hopefully James does come into the stream because we will talk about the Matrix Resurrections trailer at some point. But I know that James is the big Matrix fan, so I'll leave that until hopefully he comes in. So what I will talk about though is did you see the exclusive video we posted this week about Disney and a possible shakeup as far as the CEOs are concerned? The CEO is concerned.
I did.
Did you? Yes. So basically, we were told that there is a new name being entered into the ring, and that's the name of Peter Rice. So first off, go and watch the video because I'm not going to go over all the details here because there's a lot, but watch the video. Everything's in there. You can find that on the channel over on YouTube. And basically, Peter Rice is already a chairman, and he's an executive at Disney already. But what we were told is that he's going to be taking a more hands-on approach and is going to be brought in to help Bob Chapek with the day-to-day management of the company, and specifically more managing the company more in Europe and also managing talents directly. So if you don't know who Peter Rice is, I'm not surprised. Peter Rice was basically he was part of Fox, of 20th Century Fox. He was actually part of 21st Century Fox, and he was the person over there in charge of all the TV shows. And he has won as an executive over there, has won many Emmys, has been the executive producer of many famous and successful shows. One of them is House. And he's someone that knows this business in and out, really, inside and out. And it sounds as though he is the person that Disney is looking at to almost be the face of Disney moving forward and kind of moving Bob Chapek out of the public eye. Almost, I wonder why. But yeah, what did you make of that, Clint?
I think it's, as you would say, brilliant. I think it's great, man. I like if you got a guy who's been a by the numbers guy doing business for years and years and years, and we're gonna save money here. We're gonna do this and this. A banker accountant kind of a business guy who all of a sudden is put in a position to where now he has to deal with talent and person in entertainment business is all about personalities and popularity and getting along and being a nice guy and people liking who they work with, because there's a lot of different companies. And when all of a sudden you get promoted to the point where you're in charge of everything and you're more worried about numbers than you are people's feelings and people's and promises that are made and things like that, it's terrible, and people aren't going to want to work with you. Now you got this other guy coming in here who's got a reputation for working well with people. I was on an episode of House. Maybe I even met him. I don't remember. But
that's cool. You're on an episode of House.
I was on the first season.
Cool.
But I think that's the damage control that Disney is doing now. They're like, we're getting a bad reputation. We have the Russo brothers now saying they might not want to make another movie with us because the way we treated Scarlett Johansson, which by the way, we have another video out on Small Screen. Go check that out. I was
going to say,
yeah. And
it's got a very interesting voice narrating it. It's a cool guy.
Yeah. And so you got a situation like this where all of a sudden it looks like it's not a good thing to do business with Disney. You've got to get another face. So like, hey, this guy's a great numbers guy. Let's keep him running the business, but we got to get somebody else to be the face and the guy who goes out and shakes hands. And you have to do that. And that's what they're doing with this guy. They're like, hey, dude, people like you. Let's put you over here. Because otherwise it's going to be I was going to say like a Kathleen Kennedy situation. It's kind of like she's like the villain, even though I don't think she's done anything wrong. She's the villain. They're like, okay, you're going to be the villain. We're going to put you back here and let Favreau be the face and the Filoni be the face, because people like them. I think they're trying to make Rice be the guy that is out in front that people like and are going to be dealing with. And they'll probably say, okay, let's just have you deal with the talent and we'll have this guy crunch numbers. But
we've got Dan Zig in the chat saying Peter Rice's main job is to stop Chapek putting his foot in his mouth.
Exactly.
Which is probably exactly. But the interesting thing is that Peter Rice, to me anyway, I hadn't heard of him before we were told. Just literally this name, Peter Rice, was what we were told. Go and watch the video, and also go and watch the video that Clint narrated all about the Russo brothers. Very interesting video. We might talk about that in a second. It's all linked, but basically, what he is he started out at Fox Searchlight Pictures as well. So he's somebody that knows how to manage talent. And you were talking, you put it perfectly earlier. But the other thing that I think, one of the problems with Bob Chapek is that he doesn't know how to do that. And also he doesn't really understand how to manage people, especially in the entertainment industry, people's ego. And I think a lot of it is about ego and about management of that. And Bob Iger was very good at that, very good at stroking creatives' egos, let's say, and getting the best out of them in that way, and kind of almost taking a step back and just being like, let the creatives do their thing, let's not get in their way. Let's make sure they have everything they want, everything they need. Bob Chapek's gone in a completely different direction and been all about, I want to make as much money as I possibly can as the CEO of Disney because that's my job. And I was talking to people about people who specifically knew a lot about Disney parks. And literally they said Bob Chapek ruined the parks for everybody. He made it very expensive. And he got rid of very, very popular rides in favor for kind of rides, that were based on very odd kind of characters, and a lot of it was probably merchandising behind it, and there were sponsorship deals going on, and basically he was doing anything he could in order to maximize profit out of the parks and not really caring about the experience and the customers. And when you listen to all of this and you go into all of this, you go, why the hell did they promote him? Like, yeah, I get that. I get that he would, they looked at the money and the amount of money that he made for them and thought, yeah, this makes sense. Let's get him into that. I wonder whether Bob Iger hated this appointment. I wonder whether Peter Rice was actually Bob Iger's choice.
I don't know, but I know Chapek's a winner. Like, if you look at his resume, he wins at every single thing. He increases the profits. He ends up being in charge of that division. Then he moves to some other place and he ends up going up the chain and becoming in charge of that. He's done it his entire career. He's just wins and wins and wins and wins. The difference is, though, when you get put in a situation with talent, like we've been talking about, things run differently. It's very much, a good analogy is like a restaurant. Say you want to take a restaurant, and this thing is great formula. The food is delicious. The concept, all that. We're going to take this thing and we're going to put locations. We're going to put Five Guys everywhere. And Five Guys is going to be huge. Yes, but if you all of a sudden you start saying, you know what? If we change the bun to this other bun, and we'll save a few cents per burger, we'll make an extra $1 million. Okay. And we can do this other meat supplier instead. And then what if we, instead of this expensive cheese, what if we get this other cheese and like taste these side by side? What? Yeah, I don't even notice the difference. Yeah, but when you get all these little things together and stack them together, the burger sucks, or it's just mediocre instead of being great. And the chef is going to recognize those little things. He's going to, the chef who designed the burger and made it delicious, you're just nickel and diming here and there. Whoa, is that a train? Yeah, the chef is going to notice, but you just cut little corners here and there, and all of a sudden you screw up the product. That's the same thing they did in the theme parks. They just kept cutting corners here and there, and then next thing you know, it's not as fun as it used to be, and it's more expensive. And this you go over and you say, you know what? We need our numbers to go up. We're going to go ahead and release a movie in the theater anyway. We're going to do this. You know what? We're going to just cut this movie. Hey, we're going to put this Pixar film straight to streaming because it's good for my numbers. If you're just worried about your numbers and you're not worried about the product or the audience, you're gonna drown. And that's what's happening, and that's why his foot is put in his mouth, and we need Rice to pull it out. So there you go. I didn't mean to go on a long rant.
Yeah, but you're right. And another analogy is what do you do when your phone's been dunked in water? You put your phone in a box of rice. So there's another analogy for you.
That was fantastic.
No, but I think you don't have to do it if your phone's IP68. Whatever it's called, but yeah, you know what I mean. But it really does. Honestly, I get putting Chapek in charge based if you were just to look at a spreadsheet, right? And you go, yeah, this guy makes money. That's what he does. He makes us money. The problem is, and you said it a couple of weeks ago. What they've been doing is they've been putting literally accountants in charge over at Disney, and I think somebody like Peter Rice, somebody that has a long history of pretty incredible success as far as making content is the word that we keep on getting, but making movies and TV shows that actually do well and win awards. He's obviously someone that is very well liked in Hollywood. He's a Brit. which I quite like the idea of a Brit running Disney. I think that's quite fun. And he talks very well as well. We were watching, James and I were watching quite a few interviews with him where he was talking to, okay, one of them was he was talking with Bryan Singer, so we can't really talk about Bryan Singer that much, but he was a producer on House. And he seemed very eloquent, he seemed very switched on, and which isn't really the case with Bob Chapek. Every time Bob Chapek opens his mouth, again, he tends to make some sort of gaffe or say something that he really shouldn't have said. And that they need somebody that's a bit better at being the public face of the company, better at talking directly to creators, to filmmakers, to directors, to actors, to other producers. And I just feel like that there aren't that many people like that left at Disney. And I get the feeling that they all left with Bob Iger. But hopefully Peter Rice is one of those people that can kind of bring Disney back on track to a certain degree. And I mean, as far as the creatives and the filmmakers are concerned. And actually, one thing I wanted to ask you about. Oh, what were you going to say, Clint?
I was just going to say you nailed it, though. Like Bob Chapek calling Shang-Chi an experiment. That was not that was a Freudian slip, I think. Like he looks at this like it's a math problem. It's like a math game, how to maximize profitability. And I'm like, okay, well, we did this with the day and date and theater release. This time we'll do just theater. We'll see how it goes. This is an experiment to him. And, you know, and Simu Liu got pissed and was like, hey, my movie's not an experiment. This is art. It's not an experiment. To him, it's a math problem. He is trying to make max profits. He's a business guy. He's not an artist, and he doesn't treat this like art, you know, and that's the difference, you know. And yeah, it is corporate and big manufactured movies. You know, this isn't like an indie art film. This is a major mainstream movie release. Yes, it is about money and profit too, but you got to walk the line. You got to pretend like you care about the art a little bit. You know what I mean? Even if in the boardroom you don't, like at least in the face of the public, give the filmmakers a little bit of respect. You know. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're completely right, and it's resulted in the Russo brothers, as you said earlier, and the video is on the channel, so you do go and check that out. Before I talk about this, please like and subscribe. I think Danzig pointed that out. Please smash that like button. Please subscribe. Please ding that notification bell. All that stuff. We've got 20 people watching at the moment. Probably most of you are subscribed, but if you're not, please do. It really helps us. We're doing that big push to 1,000 subscribers, and it's James' birthday on Friday. Now, I'm not going to be here because I'm traveling back, but it's going to be a special birthday stream for James. And I'd love it if as a present, we could have reached 1,000 subscribers, and then he'll stop bugging me every day, being like, dude, this is the number. We're at like 99955. I'm like, yeah, great. We're almost there. I'm looking at the subscriber count as well, James, because we're almost there. We're very close. So any help would be much appreciated. But yes, what I was going to mention.
Only 35 more.
Exactly, only 35 more. We're almost there. And Clint's very excited as well. We're all very excited. But what I was going to mention is the fact that the Russo brothers are now thinking of not directing another movie for Marvel Studios again because of the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit and because of the way that's been so poorly handled by Disney. So first off, Clint, because you voiced the video, you narrated the video, what did you make of that whole story? And do you think this Peter Rice thing might be a good thing for Disney as far as that sort of thing's concerned? Would he be able to bring back the Russo brothers, for instance?
Honestly, I think they're strong arming Disney. They're saying, hey, you need to take care of Scarlett Johansson and do the right thing. They're like family with her. Yeah. They did a ton of movies with her, and they see what's going on. They're like, you know what? We don't have to go do more billion-dollar movies for Marvel. And I don't really like how they treated my friend. So we're gonna say, and that's what again, it's the relationships in Hollywood. That's how it is. I have friends in Hollywood. I went out there, and I ended up walking into offices, Brookstone Entertainment, Will Smith's thing. I walked in with all kinds of I was in CAA, I was in a whole bunch of places where I walked in and talked to managers because and agents and all kinds of people, because I was friends with somebody, and I developed a rapport and a good friendship with somebody who was a casting director in the business. She was a casting director for House, and it's all, Hollywood is all about relationships. And when you treat somebody like they treated Scarlett Johansson, her friends are going to have her back, and they are. And I love that. I love that those guys, have enough money that they can they can play that game. You know what I mean? Like somebody else who's hurting for money would be like, oh, okay, sure, I'll do whatever you want, Disney. But these guys could be like, yeah, no, y'all screwed over my friend. Do the right thing. And I think if they do the right thing and they settle and she gets her money, and I'm sure it's all going to happen quietly outside of court, or I'm sure they'll be back to do more stuff. They're just having her back right now is what I feel about it. But anyone could potentially take that attitude, and somebody can look at what the Russo brothers said, like, yeah, they're right. What if they don't? What if they screw up the back end pay scale? Maybe I'm just going to get a cash up front deal, and if not, I'm not going to do business with them. There's a million different things that could come from this. Basically, if it looks like you're not going to get paid, it's going to get real tricky in the negotiating room with Disney. So yeah.
People have obviously found your cameo in House. Well, Clint is a dick in House.
I am. I'm on small screen too.
we got a comment from question from Dan saying, "Do you think Feige is earmarked for the top role at Disney in the near future?" I'll start off on that. I don't think so. I actually think, now I was listening to someone that we both quite like, I think, John Campier, the other week, and he said that he thinks that Kevin Feige is going to leave Marvel and Disney in the not so distant future, which I hope doesn't happen. But I think that's more likely to happen than him becoming the CEO of Disney or having a really, a big role at Disney specifically. I think for him, he's much more interested in making movies and making TV shows, than running a company. I think, that's something that he's always been about is the kind of project, and the MCU project was a big thing for him. And I wonder whether after Phase 5, he might think, well, really, I've done everything I wanted to do here at Marvel. Let's go off to another company where I can start something great over there. And I wonder whether he might go to DC Films and try and do something there. I would think that's more likely. Now, whether I'll give it a 50% chance of happening, but I think that's more likely than him going and becoming the big cheese at Disney, for instance. I just don't see him as that sort of executive, that sort of producer. I think he's more a producer, less a kind of. I know he's Marvel president, but I see him more as someone that is more interested in making movies and making TV shows rather than running a company, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's exactly right. People get it twisted. They think that, well, you get used to seeing people rise through the ranks and get promoted and things, and you think that being the ultimate boss is the best place. But in the movie business, the guy who's at the very, very top is doing a lot of business stuff and not creating. So it's like people just talk about that. Do you think we're going to have Jon Favreau be in charge of Lucasfilm? Jon Favreau doesn't want to do that. He wants to make movies. He's getting to produce movies and create. And so you got creators, and that's what Feige has been in charge of putting this thing together. But I think you're right. After 20 years of doing it, he's probably going to say, hey, let's go do something else. He's already jumping over and doing a Star Wars movie. You know what I mean?
So it's like, out in the comments, yeah.
And he just promoted a guy to take care of a bunch of TV, stuff. So he might be kind of setting up the foundation so that he can dip. Who knows?
And the Quarter Pounder in the comments says Feige already making a Star Wars film. So yeah, it already looks like he's branching out, slightly and looking at other things he can do in the future. The Star Wars when it was announced that he's producing a Star Wars movie, I don't think he's going to direct it. I was quite shocked actually, because I was a bit like, oh, this is interesting, because this to me looks almost like he's already thinking of other things aside from Marvel. So that was really what got me thinking about what else would he really be interested in doing. And then I read the interview with James Gunn, where James Gunn said when he told Kevin Feige that he was going to make a film for DC Films, Kevin Feige immediately asked him if he was going to do Superman. And it really seemed to me as though that's what Kevin Feige is about. He's a fan of these properties, and he just wants to get to do them. So I would wonder whether he would be really excited by the idea of getting his hands on either Star Wars like full time, or go off and start making DC Comics movies. I think those two areas are more likely to happen. And you said it right, like you said it perfectly. He being an executive at a big company, being the boss of a company, is very different from being, the head of Marvel Studios. They are very much they're people a bit like Bob Chapek. They're people that focus on management and on money and on numbers, rather than and you can tell that Bob Chapek's terrible at managing like
people,
stars. Film, maybe not people. He seems to have talent. People that he likes. Talent. So I do wonder whether I do think that Kevin Feige, I'd give him probably 5 more years at Marvel, and then he might start. And also the fact that we're looking at, I can't remember Brad Winderbaum was promoted within Marvel. So, right. You wonder whether he's already lining up a successor. And I'm pretty sure they have all that actually already planned, to be honest. I think that's already, they might, I would think it would be smart to like do 5-year plans, and then Kevin, which I think he does anyway, which is like every phase basically lasts about 5 years. So he might say, right, phase 5 will be my last, this is probably going to be my last phase. So then we're going to start planning for what's after that and where I go next, all that stuff, so that they make sure that the MCU continues beyond Feige, which I think it will do. I'm pretty sure it will do.
He's like, okay, Winderbaum, here's the deal. We got to get Scarlett Johansson paid. Then we got the Russo brothers come back, and then we're going to have them do Wolverine, and then I'm out, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and then
exactly.
Here's the torch. I'll see you later. Don't screw it up. If you have any questions, call me.
Yeah, I wonder whether for him it would be to set up the X-Men and then be like, okay, now that's all set up. I can leave.
It would be full. And, that would be full circle, because that's what he started with. It was with the X-Men, so that'd be awesome.
So Curtis is such a troll in the comments. I think it was Wind Branderbaum.
Yeah,
he's a little troll in the comments. He's all right when he's on the show, but then when he gets into the comments, he's a big troll. What else do we have? The Quarter Pounder saying Kevin is going to be this generation's Stan Lee. Well, May. I mean, I see him as I don't know. Stanley. That's an interesting. That's really made me think. Would Kevin Feige be a modern kind of this generation Stan Lee? Stan Lee was always very Marvel centric. I do think Kevin Feige is going to do something after Marvel. I think he might be. I just. In my heart of hearts, I'd love him to stay at Marvel and continue this MCU on for as long as possible, as long as I live. But that's not possible. And I think I would also like to see him do something slightly different, which is why I'm really excited for Star Wars. And I would love to see him do something with DC Comics, like DC Films. I think I just think that would be. I think they need him.
Yeah.
So who else do we have in the chat? We have Kazakh says no, Edward. Not Clownpier. Yeah, people don't like him. It's funny. It's going into this whole YouTube sphere. John Campier was someone that I watched years back when he was doing the AMC movie thing show, and then he went to work for Collider. So he's like he's old school for me, you know. He might not like me saying that, but that's he was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. So I'm not against him as a lot of people are. I know he says some stupid stuff sometimes, but everyone does on YouTube.
Yeah.
And Castellos Away says, "You are so close to 1K. Yes, again. Please like and subscribe, because if you do, you will make James happy. You won't save a whale." I don't know why we're starting to say that in our videos. You'll save a whale. It's a James joke, but you'll make a James happy.
It's a Star Trek joke.
Yes, I know. It's and Leroy Kong says, "No, Edward, I disagree." So you disagree about Kevin Feige going to Marvel? Well, maybe. Again, who knows? And then Stan Lee's favorite DC character is Lobo, says Reese. He wasn't just about Marvel. Yes, I know he wasn't just about Marvel, but what I meant was most of his work was in the Marvel, bubble, let's call it. And the Quarter Pounder says, "I lost all faith in DC." Well, I'm actually, there are some movies that are coming out that I'm really excited about. The minute that Clint gets back from his bathroom break, we will talk about that. But then we've got Sean Harrigan in the chat saying, "I just realized that Edward is James Bond." Yes, I always put these little jokes in my my name, and James Bond is one that I love James Bond, so I just put that in there. Leroy Kong says he shouldn't be involved with anything DC. I respectfully disagree with you, Leroy. I think he's a very talented producer, and that's something that they need. And I think he'd actually do a pretty good job over there. Personally, he's obviously someone that's very, very. He's very into DC Comics, and he knows them inside out. So I think he would be someone that I think Warner Brothers would love to have him. And we will talk a little bit about Warner Brothers and who they might like to have or might not have in the future, filmmaker-wise. We might talk about that in a second, actually, the minute Clint gets back. But actually, what I'm going to do is I've actually got a special guest to bring onto the show now, and I'm very excited about this, Clint, because this leads me onto our next little subject, and that's that we've got Venom here in the. I spent about 5 minutes doing this. I'll take him down. But yes, a bunch of video games were announced. I don't know if you saw this. A bunch of Marvel video games were announced. One of them was Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Another one was the Wolverine game, Marvel's Wolverine. And then there's the Guardians of the Galaxy video game that's coming, and they showed a story trailer. And then there was the announcement that they're doing a remake of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which I am super psyched for. I wanted to get your opinion on this because you bought an Xbox, right?
Yes.
You do realize that all these games are coming out on PlayStation 5 alone, I think.
Yeah, I'm a little bit fired up about that.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, well, it looks like I got to go buy a PS5. I've always been a PS5 guy, a PlayStation guy anyway. But I got the Series.
Sorry, Clint, what are you wearing?
Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, let me show you guys.
Oh my god!
It even says Edward. This is my new favorite shirt. Yeah. But yeah, I got the Series S anyway, so that's like so it's $250. No, it's the latest thing. It's just
it's the latest thing.
It doesn't have a drive. It's not the Series X is like the $600 one, and this it's the $250. I'm okay. I'll go get the PS5. When you're I'll just wait till my Ritalin kids money comes in and I'll go get a PS5.
It's actually, I haven't bought a PS5 yet because it's impossible to get your hands on one. And my brothers have. Freddie's actually in the chat right now. He says that Xbox is getting Perfect Dark though. Interesting. That's not enough for me to buy an Xbox, Freddie. I'm buying if I get any console, it will be the PlayStation 5 to play Spider-Man 2, Wolverine. And I think someone in the chat said that the Knights of the Old Republic game is going to be a timed exclusive. So it's probably going to come to multiple consoles, I would assume. To be honest, if they all come to PS4, then I might hold off buying a PS5 and just play them on PS4. But honestly, the one that really gave me goosebumps was the trailer for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Because in the trailer, first off, you have Peter Parker and Miles Morales fighting together, and you have a voiceover. And the voiceover is going on about how he's trying to find the perfect opponent, somebody that can actually challenge them, and being like, will you be the ones to challenge me? And the whole time you're watching this trailer, you think he's talking either to Miles and Peter or about Miles and Peter. And then you got, let's get this guy back up. God, I don't know how James does this. How
so quickly. He's always so fast.
He's so fast. You got this guy that pops up at the end, and he's like, yes. Literally just like that as well. And actually,
that was good.
Do you know who does the voice
Of
Venom?
It's Tom Hardy, right?
No, it's not.
I thought it was.
It's Candyman. It's the original Candyman. It's the actor that played Candyman. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head, but he's got a brilliant voice, and I'm pretty sure the narrator. I'm going to
wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
It's Tony Todd.
Tony Todd. There you go.
Tony Todd. I live right next. We live right next to a train line, so it gets quite loud sometimes. But so it's Tony Todd. I'm pretty sure that the narrator is Kraven the Hunter, because it would make so much sense for it to be Kraven the Hunter, just someone that is looking for a challenge, that wants to fight people. Sounds like Kraven, has that slight Russian accent. So I think this game's going to be amazing. I also wonder whether these video games, the fact that there's a Marvel's Wolverine game coming out, does that mean that they're also working on a Wolverine movie?
That's interesting. It's an interesting thought. They don't have to. I mean, they put out games all the time that have Wolverine in them.
Yeah, but they haven't done it they've never done a solo Wolverine game. This is the first, I think. Actually, no. Well, okay, going back in time, yes, there have been solo Wolverine games, but this is the first in a while. And I don't know. I just find it quite interesting that Marvel would allow that would be the property that Marvel wanted to do. It's a bit of a weird one. It's like, well, what would a Wolverine game be? Would it be a bit like Red Dead Redemption, or because if you watch the trailer, it's all set in a bar, which is like typical kind of Wolverine fare these days. It's like Wolverine's at a bar, he's drinking, a guy comes in with a knife. And then, everything's very focused on Wolverine's claws, and then the claws come out. It's a pretty cool. It's a little teaser. They're all small teasers. I think that my favorite was the Spider-Man one, but also then it ended with the teaser for Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. It's the remake.
Looks awesome.
That looks so. Well, first off, Darth Revan. Oh my God, the coolest like Sith. Because I read the book, and he's kind of like he had a whole memory thing. It's a long time ago that I read the book. So he had like he was originally a Jedi, then became a Sith, was like the strongest Sith ever, and then ended up kind of something happened. He ended up losing his memory, or his memory was wiped by the Jedi, and then became a Jedi again. It's a pretty good book, to be honest, and he's a very fascinating character. And this made me think, because Knights of the Old Republic, it's all about the birth of the Sith, really, and it made me think.
I'm actually halfway through that book right now, so keep going.
Oh yeah, it's good, isn't it? That book, it is good. Yeah. But it made me think that, does this mean the fact that Lucasfilm Games is doing this with Aspire, I think is who's producing it or making it, does this make this canon? Does this mean that this is now canon, that the Old Republic is canon?
Old
Republic is canon.
I don't know, but I love the cinematic, amazing look at the old games and stuff. And I watched those. There's like a 4K version that's on you can find it on YouTube. And I'm like, why
it's
aren't they doing? Yeah, why aren't they doing this on the big screen? Like, what the hell? Like, what are you waiting for? Do it. If I get fired up, I'll watch those and all those clips from the games and stuff, and they're so awesome. Like, I would love to see that. Like, it's really cool.
I really think they should. There are rumors that they were going to kind of adapt the story and do like a movie around it, but
they should, man.
They should.
I hear stories. I hear rumors about the High Republic. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I want the old Republic. I don't want the High Republic. I want to see the old Republic. So,
the thing is the thing that I was really wondering about this was, first off, does it make the Knights of the Old Republic canon? Because Knights of the Old Republic, the original game, was made, back in the day, and then when Disney bought Lucasfilm, they kind of eradicated all that stuff from canon. Like all the video games, the books, the comic books as well. They all just said no, they're no longer canon. So I do wonder, the fact that they allowed this to happen, that Disney, because it would have been Disney that would have greenlit this. Is this them saying, okay, all right, fine, we'll make this canon then? Like, I really don't know. I'd like to talk to, is it Pablo? I can't remember his last name. The guy that's head of the story, the whole story thing at Lucasfilm. Like, I'm pretty. He'd be interesting to talk about that. But the cinematic's so cool. Revan is such a cool character. Anything involving Revan, like a series involving Revan or a movie. There were rumors that the Kevin Feige movie might be a Knights of the Old Republic kind of spin-off or take on that. And it's not Pablo Escobar. it's something. Pablo Hidalgo. I think that's his name.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting having like games and interactive games that have storylines, and then having movies and having them they have to work together. You know what I mean? And like the new Matrix thing, I know we're not going to talk completely about that, but that's why Morpheus is not going to be in the new Matrix.
Yes.
It's because he died in the video game. Some assassins came after him. I think it was like 2005 or something. But they are keeping the canon of the online game and keeping true to that. And instead of like, oh, let's bring Morpheus back. No, he died in the game. I'm like, that wasn't even in the movie. Nope, it's in the game. And I think that's cool. But it's like, for me, it's weird. I'm like, no, Lawrence Fishburne's badass. Let's get him back. But nope.
Was that because the Wachowskis were very invested in the video game, though?
Yeah,
they wrote the story for it, didn't they?
And at the time, they didn't have any plans of doing another Matrix movie, so they were done with the movies, and they did this game, and they wanted the fans to be able to get in there and really get into the story, and and it was something about like about the machines never bringing Neo's body back to Zion after he died, and he whole bunch of stuff went down, and basically they sent an assassin over to kill Morpheus, and he died. So
nice.
Yeah, so there you go. But anyway, I didn't mean to go off on Matrix stuff, but I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating to be like, okay, I'm going to watch the movie. Now I'm going to dig into the game, and it's like becomes your whole world. You're like, you get immersed in whatever it is that you're into. And man, I could get into some Old Republic. Let's get it.
Honestly, that I've never been so excited for a bunch of, like, literally it was just one announcement after the next. I was like, oh my god. I think it started with Wolverine, then it was Knights of the Old Republic. Or no, then it started with Guardians of the Galaxy, then Wolverine, then Knights of the Old Republic, and then Spider-Man 2. And I was just like, this is a lot. this is a lot of like good stuff. I mean, at the moment, the only I have two consoles at the moment. It's the PS4 and the Switch. And I play everything on Switch now. And I love my Switch. But this has really made me think, maybe I should invest in a PS4.
It might be time sooner or later.
I want the Slim though. I think I've seen a lot of people saying that in the chat that there's a Slim coming. So here we go. We've got Raj. No, it's not Raj. Sorry. I'm sorry to bring up your comment and then leave it. It's Kazakh saying, hope they do a PS5 Slim by 2023. I hope it's before that. I hope it's like next year. But with all this. These chips chip shortages. That's a difficult thing to say. It might not happen. I don't know. Freddie's asking if he wants an update on Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, I'd like an update on that too. That was again. You're talking about video, like watching things and then going into a video game. For me, it was Harry Potter. I was all about Harry Potter, like reading the books, watching the movies, and going to play the video games. Like the Hogwarts Legacy thing looked incredible. It looked like it was like an open world Harry Potter game, but it's gone very quiet. So I don't really know what's happening with that, which is a shame because that looked incredible. Yeah, it really did look good, Freddie. Good bringing that up. And Curtis says, "Go Switch, go." Yeah, the Switch is the best console. It is the best console. But yeah, I think what we should do now is talk, because I don't think James is coming. I think he's probably still asleep. Let's talk about the Matrix 4 or the Matrix Resurrections. They're resurrecting the Matrix. Or are they? Who's being resurrected? Should we talk about that first? Is it Neo? Is it Morpheus? Who is it? Who's the resurrections? So it's more than one.
Yeah, I would say it would be Neo. I'm very excited about this movie, dude. Like, I watched this trailer several times. I also got freaked out because I went a couple of days before the trailer was released. They had a thing where they were doing like a little teaser, and you could go to the website.
Yes,
it was the Matrix.
You sent me this. Yeah,
and you click the red or the blue pill, and it showed you a
red
different
pill.
video.
Always the red pill.
Yeah, but what was crazy is that I did it, and it's like it says, okay, you're in the Matrix. The time is 6:36, or is it? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay. And then it's like, okay. Then I took the blue pill, and they're like, blah blah blah. Reality isn't what it seems. It's 6:37. I'm like, that's weird. They made the two videos. They did they did it like 1 minute after another, and then then somebody else sent it to me, and then I'm looking, and it's like, it's 7:45, and I go, wait, what? And I'm like, what? And then I went back to the website, and it's like, it's 8, and I was like, what in the hell is going on? And then I realized they had, it was interactive, and it changed. And I looked, and I was like, oh, the clock, it's telling me what time it is. And I just thought that they just picked a time, and I thought I was losing my mind because the time just kept changing, and I'm like, dude, what's happening? Yeah, so they messed me up big time. And then they just thinking about, I'm sure it's some kind of Siri kind of a voice tech that did it, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking, like, did they have to do the voiceover? Like, did some guy get paid to say
24 hours?
Yeah, 12:45, 12:46, 12:47. 12:48. I can do this all day. 12:40. You know, I thought it was hilarious. I was like, And so anyway, so yeah, that was cool. Then when it finally came out, it looked awesome. It looks fantastic. Only one of the Wachowskis is coming back.
So it's Lana Wachowski that's directing, and she wrote the script as well.
And you know, you have things like what is it? Jupiter Ascending, I think is a Wachowski movie, which is hot garbage. And there's some other ones too, you know. But one thing that the Wachowskis know how to do is the Matrix, you know. And I was thinking about how, like, some still, you know, you get the three of them, and you know, the last one's not so good. The second one is not so good either. The first one is badass. So I enjoyed them all. I loved them all. But you know, clearly the first one is awesome. And I think we're at a point now with this film that we have Neo not knowing what he can do and who he is.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be discovering that he's Neo, which is what happened in the first movie, and it looks good.
This is what I was thinking. Is it going to be a bit of a rehash of the first film?
Well, it's sort of, yeah, because you got a guy who is like the chosen one who doesn't know it and do I know you kind of a thing, and as a viewer, we're going to be watching this thing. This because the first movie we're like, yes, we want you to be the chosen one, we want you to be badass, and then when he finally pays off at the end and he starts manipulating reality, we're like, yes. And that's what was so awesome with this. It's going to be the same thing. We're going to be rooting for him. We know what he can do, and then when they and there's even a little little shot where he like there's a missile coming, he like moves it and it goes and blows up a helicopter. There's bullets coming and he freezes them, and we're like, yeah, it's like the ultimate superhero. He can manipulate reality, and so there's going to be a little bit of us rooting for him, like, come on, Neo, come on, and then we're finally going to get it, and then who knows what other weird twists and crazy stuff is going to happen.
I think there's so much like mad stuff that's going to happen. Like I've heard theories that are insane. Like I've heard one theory that this is actually that Neo actually has remade the Matrix. That was one theory I've heard, which is why, but he didn't. He did it via his subconscious. Did it was one thing I heard, and then that subconscious kind of, and I heard another theory about Morpheus specifically. Is that because Morpheus died in the video game, so it's not Lawrence Fishburne came back, it's Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who is playing him, and actually that was created by the Matrix. Like the Matrix recreated Morpheus. So then Morpheus in this is also questioning who he is or what he is, whether he's real or not. And there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that guy's that actor's so badass. Good. He was in Candyman. He was really good.
Yeah, he was in Candyman. He was in Watchmen. He's in Aquaman. He's going to be in Aquaman 2 as well, I believe, maybe. But he's just a very, very good actor. And if you could get anyone to play Lawrence Fishburne, like a young Lawrence Fishburne, he's perfect, isn't he? He just looks especially when he has the glasses on. The iconic glasses.
I didn't even know if he was supposed to. Is he supposed to be more a young Morpheus?
I think he's supposed to be a version of Morpheus that's been like regenerated by the Matrix. So it's kind of like it's like so he has Morpheus's some of his memories from a certain point, I believe, and. One thing I really liked about this trailer was they're recreating the kung fu scene between Morpheus and Keanu Reeves and the Neo, the one, and you just see how much more powerful he is than he was in the first film. So he just blows everything up basically just with one punch. It looks incredible. It really does look incredible.
Neil Patrick Harris looks awesome in this too.
Yes,
and as soon as he started talking, I was like, "Oh man, this is awesome!" Like the whole thing looked great. Trinity was in it. Just the whole thing looks fantastic. I watched the trailer and now I just want the day to come. Let's see it. I'm ready. I'm fired up. And sometimes I do a little eye roll when it's like, okay, they're doing another what? All right, okay, but after seeing the trailer, dude, I am totally stoked.
It's good. Honestly, I think this film's it's coming out this year, which I'm pretty. I just can't believe it's coming out this year. It's 22nd of December. The cast is brilliant. So yeah, you got Neil Patrick Harris. It's kind of, I think his character is a psychiatrist, but it's like, I think it's actually the Matrix. Again, he's like part of the Matrix and trying to figure out what's wrong with Neo, basically. And then some people have. I know that there's no Agent Smith in this, but some people have theorized that Jonathan Groff at the end is actually the new version of Mr. Smith. And there's the interesting thing with the mouth that you have, that his mouth goes all gummy like Neo's did in the first film. So there's that as well.
I'm gonna spoil this, like, or it's not a spoiler, but I was talking to James about it, and I was gonna maybe I shouldn't say anything. We were gonna make a theories video about the Matrix. You think I should say it or no? I'm putting it on you, Edward.
Oh, go and say it. It's fine.
Okay,
I'm interested.
If you listen to Neil Patrick Harris, he, in the beginning, he says he's talking to Neo, and he's a therapist or whatever, and he says a particular. The way he says particular is exactly like the agent. The guy who plays V for Vendetta, the original agent on.
Yes.
I can't remember his name. Stuttering now. But anyway, he says, I've noticed you a particular. He says it exactly the way he would. Is like a perfect impression, and it made me.
Well, you think he's?
I think that Neil Patrick Harris is generated by the Matrix. That he's an agent.
Yes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's generated by the Matrix, but Hugo Weaving is the actor you were thinking of.
Hugo Weaving, he's
Right,
badass.
yeah.
But yeah, if you listen to Neil Patrick Harris, the way he says "particular" in the trailer, it's exactly like Hugo Weaving would say it. It's exactly.
I didn't think of that. I always kind of assumed that he was generated by the Matrix, but I didn't know whether he'd be an agent or not. I thought he just might be like a way, because the theory at the moment that I'm hearing a lot of people put about is that this whole thing is created by Neo himself.
Interesting.
So I mean, I don't know. Like, again, my knowledge. The reason why I let you guys take, I was like, look, honestly, I'd love to do a Matrix theories video, but I've watched them all, but I can't remember any of them apart from the first one, because the last two, to me, were just so. They just got way too complicated.
Yeah, they got a little weird, but you know what? I own them all. I have them all on DVD even before Blu-ray.
I mean, I'd probably have to watch them again, but I just remember the last two just being just endless action sequences that weren't. There's like a car chase sequence, I think, that's in the second one that's really good, that they spent a lot of money on. It was like, at one point, I think it was like the most expensive action sequence ever made, or but it was. I just kind of lost interest after the first one. I think that I remember I used to watch, like, the first one. To me, I remember watching it like almost in secret as a kid, because it was kind of like a horror film. Like I still have like not nightmares, but I remember as a kid growing up, I had like real vivid nightmares about that bit where the creature goes into his belly button in the first Matrix. It just being, that was so horrible, and I've had like a phobia about that sort of stuff ever since. Like, that makes me go really weird. And then the mouth scene as well, the gummy mouth thing. It's just freaky, such a freaky movie.
I had a similar thing, but being a few years older than you, when the Wrath of Khan Star Trek came out with Ricardo Montalban, they put like an ear tick thing in the like creature in this guy's ear, and it goes into his brain, and that freaked me out.
Oh,
bad. Yeah, not okay. Also the alien popping out, an alien, like,
I was a bit older when I watched that, so that didn't freak me out as much. And you can tell that it's just a little hand puppet, a guy going. But yeah,
and the Spaceballs version is really good too. Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby.
And then we got here. Ed, have you seen Wrath of Khan? No, I haven't seen Wrath of Khan. I have not seen Wrath of Khan. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a big Star Trek guy. Never have been. And it's, I know. It just never really grabbed me. So I'm sorry about that. I have to apologize to both you, Clint and James, because I know you two are both massive Star Trek fans. But what I wanted to do was move on to, I think, what we'll make it the last kind of thing we'll talk about this evening or today, and that's Marvel's What If Episode 5. I wanted to end on that because honestly, Marvel Zombies. What did you make of it?
I loved it, man. It's awesome. And you have Evangeline Lilly being one of the main characters in there. I watch her wash dishes and be happy. I love her. Like, I always have since Lost. I've always loved her. I think she's fantastic.
She's so good.
Yeah. But it was so good. And Spider-Man was awesome in this. Seeing Tony Stark zombie and all these people that you kind of think of as invincible, and then they turn around and like, oh no, they're zombies. It was just cool. It was fun. And intense, it was good.
Yeah, it was really intense. Like, from I think both of us liked it, mainly because of the whole horror tropes thing as well. It takes on the whole, every single horror trope. It has a little Zombieland moment as well, with Peter's video of how to survive the zombie apocalypse, which I thought was hilarious. I loved how there is a bit of I did feel that there was a bit of a tonal kind of issue a bit with it, but because it's it's still technically a children's TV show, really.
Yeah.
they can't make it too scary, but they were like those kind of quippy moments that you do get from the MCU. But I kind of liked it. I kind of liked like. I heard a lot of people saying that this version of Spider-Man was better than the MCU's version of Spider-Man, which I thought was quite funny. Yeah, Paul Rudd was, I think, a bit much personally, but yeah, I think a lot of people. Did you find him funny in it as the head?
I thought it was funny. It was, I mean, Paul Rudd. That's another one that I just love. I love anything he does. Yeah. Okay, we got a head in a jar. That's a little bit weird, but it was fun. I mean, it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cartoon, and
yeah, exactly.
it is what it is. I really loved the Hulk running into the crowd of zombies. I wish he would have changed before he got in there, because I could fathom that. I can fathom that the Hulk's skin is impenetrable, but he was still Bruce Banner when he ran into the zombies. So I was like, oh no, he's gonna get bit. Now we're gonna have a zombie Hulk. That would be ridiculous. But he didn't. He got rid of him. He's the Hulk man.
And I also like the fact that there was some more of Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther in this, and he has some really good lines in it as well. And a lot of this was actually apparently I was listening to a podcast about it, and people saying that actually the whole Black Panther being kept alive for food, which is what's going on. That was actually taken from an issue of Marvel Zombies, which I didn't know about, which I thought was kind of cool. They brought that into the show. Scarlet Witch, gosh, she's terrifying. I mean,
she's
a zombie
awesome.
a zombie Scarlet Witch.
She's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
so cool.
I thought, I have to say, these last two episodes have really gone to places that I didn't expect them to go to. Like the Doctor Strange one, I thought was really good and really freaky. And really sad as well. And this one had those elements in it as well. It was the first time that Uncle Ben's actually been mentioned in these Marvel movies, which I thought was quite an interesting moment and quite a sweet moment as well. I liked seeing Happy go around going pew pew, like shooting people with his. I really loved this episode. I think this is probably my favorite one. And I've read some very negative things about it online. People talking about the tonal shift and being like this. It didn't really do justice to the Marvel zombie comics. Again, I just enjoyed it. I thought it was 30. It is a lot to cram into 30 minutes, and I think they did it really well.
It's a cartoon, guys. It's a freaking cartoon. Like, come on, it's a cartoon.
Yeah,
and it was good. It was really good storytelling. Like you said, it was just good. Both of them. And honestly, I've loved every What If that's come out. We know Clint likes everything, but this one was really good. The last week is probably my favorite, just because of the tragedy that it was of him trying to fix things and not being able to do it. But yeah, I loved this one. It was really good. Mark, again, I saw a comment from Reese75 saying Mark Ruffalo's voice acting wasn't as good. I feel like maybe Mark Ruffalo took a Xanax or something, because he just sounds like he just sounds tired. He just woke up. He just woke up, hadn't had his coffee yet. But yeah, but then I'm like, he kind of is like that all the time.
I think without his own facial expressions. I think if you just have his voice, he has that kind of. Where's he from? Is he from California? Somewhere in California or something? He has that kind of a slight drawl to the way he speaks, which if you were to listen to him, you might notice it. But because he's so much of his acting he does in his face, like with his facial expressions, I think you do kind of you lose that a bit when it's just him voice acting. But yeah, it does sound as though he took some pills before recording.
He took some NyQuil and he just hasn't. He's just about to crash.
We had like Paul Bettany in this episode as well, which is pretty cool, having him back as the Vision. As Vision, and then you had was Sebastian Stan's already been in an episode of What If, so I imagine that he's also. Emily Van Camp is back as well, which I liked, and I think to me, I can't remember his name, but the guy that played Peter Parker in this kind of stole the show for me. It's not Tom Holland, it was another actor that sounds a lot like him.
Yeah, he really does. I thought it was
yeah,
Tom Holland.
Yeah, and it's not Tom Holland. It's another actor, and he was really good, like really, really good. And I also noticed that they made Spider-Man quite a lot taller than he is in the MCU. So I thought that was really, really good. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rest of this show. Really, I just want to know where it's all going.
I really like that they made Vision do something that's a little unscrupulous,
Yeah.
because of out of his love for for Scarlet Witch. You know, I almost said Scarlett Johansson for Scarlet Witch. You know, which is just like that's staying true to the character of WandaVision.
Yeah. And Chrysler brought that up in the comments that this is the flip side of WandaVision, with Vision keeping Wanda's memory alive, which it's exactly what it is. And it's kind of, you know, they're like the power couple, aren't they, of the MCU? Like they can really, those two can really fuck things up. Like,
yeah. Two of the most powerful.
That love each other, and they're both like destined to die no matter what. It's like, it's horrible. Well, one of them is destined to die no matter what. It's really sad. And also, I did think, like, Vision taking his mind spoilers, by the way, Vision taking the Mind Stone out. I was like, dude, you could have waited until they got to the bloody hangar, because they were like Richie right next to you. He goes, okay, I'm going to take this out now, and I'm
there you
like,
go.
Okay, like you realize the error of your ways, yet you still kind of leave them in the shit just by doing that, literally just there and then. But I thought it was. I've been so impressed by this show, and I just can't wait to see more of it. Like, I want to know what the Watcher's doing. I'm pretty sure he's going to meld like realities together at some point. There's going to be some big thing that happens at the end of this series, and I just they're already working on season 2, so I'm really, really enjoying this. I think I probably enjoyed this more than I really thought I would, considering it's an animated TV show. But I've been loving every single episode.
Okay, I got one. I got one for you. WandaVision. Falcon and Winter Soldier versus What If. Which one have you enjoyed more?
Oh, What If? Like no question. I actually, the more I think about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the worse it becomes, because I really thought that show was a bit of a nothing show at the end of it. Like, okay, fine, you made Falcon Captain America, like, officially, but you could have easily just watched Avengers Endgame and then seen him just in a suit, like in the next movie, and be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see that. It was interesting to see them bonding, like him, you know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier getting to kind of become buddies. And it was interesting to see Falcon's journey to eventually becoming Captain America. But I just felt like there wasn't enough intrigue, and I think the villain was kind of meh, like nothing really. And the whole, they're really desperately trying to set up, what is it, the kind of bad superheroes, kind of. I can't remember what they're called now. That I just feel like it's a bit. I'm just not that interested in it. I think that's probably my main problem. I'm just not that interested in that whole thing. Like, I think the best elements of that show actually was Daniel Bruhl as Baron Zemo. I thought
he was awesome.
Fantastic. But so far, I think What If has been, each episode has really been, I've been very excited to see them, and to see just to see alternate versions of what's going on in the you know, because it is still technically the MCU. They're just the alternate realities, and I think they've done an incredible job. They've gone to places that I really didn't expect them to go to. Like, some of these episodes are dark, especially the last 2. Like, they've been really dark, and I also like what they did with Thanos in the Guardian. You know, what if T'Challa became Star-Lord?
That was really cool. Yeah, well, in defense of Falcon Winter Soldier, it was duct taped together. You know, it was supposed to have a different storyline than they had to change because of the apocalypse. But
yeah,
still.
Exactly. Yeah, as Chris has said, it was cobbled together after the pandemic, and the team is Thunderbolts. Yeah. Which I mean, The bit in Falcon and Winter Soldier that I really didn't get was the bit when the what are they called, the guards from Wakanda. I'm forgetting their names.
The
I can't remember that.
Balaje,
Yeah, it's I'm forgetting what they're called. But when they come and eventually get Baron Zemo,
Yeah.
they then take him off to thingies. Was it Prison in the Sky or whatever? And I'm a bit like, that makes no sense. Surely, because the whole thing is you wanted him back because reasons, and and it's like, at the end of it, you just hand him over to someone else. That didn't make any sense. Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje.
Milaje,
I was mixing that with some Star Trek stuff, and I was like, no, that's wrong.
But do you get what I mean about that? It's like they bring the Dora Milaje back, and then they finally get Baron Zemo, and then you think they're going to take him back to Wakanda, but they end up taking him giving him to someone else.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
I think that was really, really cobbled together, that bit. It's like they're almost like, we need him to be in this facility. How are we going to get that? How are we going to do that? Like, last minute think, okay, let's bring in the Dora Milaje to do it.
Well, like we said, that the show was duct taped together. There were scenes where they were talking on the phone and their mouth was saying different things than what was said, because they had to change the story. So I was actually, once I figured that out, I was pretty impressed with how, and I started noticing little things. There were scenes where people were speaking that were off of screen, and then they were it was just funny. It's like they had to really cut a lot of corners, and it's a time where there's no reshoots when everything's locked down, so you're like, we can't really do anything. How do we fix this? We'll just do a quick voiceover here and change this.
And they obviously did it over Zoom, didn't they?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I suppose what we'll do is for this week's episode, we'll leave it there because it's 2:00 in the morning for me. I need to go to bed.
You need to get to bed. I will say that we're gonna have Hawkeye before you know it, and all these things are gonna tie together with Thunderbolts and with Elaine and all this. So I'm excited to see Black Widow, all of those things that we're getting the little bits. It's all going to interweave into some more interesting stuff in the shows and movies to come. So I'm excited about all of this stuff. Thank goodness we're getting to kick-ass movie TV show season. Woohoo! So there you go.
Thank you, Clint.
Thank you, Edward, and thank you guys in the chat.
Where can we find you? Let's bring your thing out. I'm just trying to find. There you go.
You can find me, the OG Clint Baker, on Twitter and Instagram, and you can catch me on YouTube, youtube.com/Clint Baker channel.
And also, why don't you go to our Patreon as well, where you can go to patreon.com/smallscreenco. What? And I cut you off there, Clint. I'm sorry about that. What were you going to say?
No worries. I don't even know what I was going to say. How about this? Catch my show Versus on Tuesday nights at 8. Thursday, I got Answering for a Friend at 8. And subscribe to this channel, guys. We're so close. We need subscribers. So tell your friends and subscribe. Edward, where can they find you?
Small Screen Co. and at EJ Lauder. And go to the site as well. Go to small-screen.co.uk for all your pop culture news and all that crap. And thanks to Venom for coming on the show.
Oh yeah, and also thanks to Aquafina for popping in. It was nice having you.
And thanks. There you go. James has made his way onto the show via your T-shirt. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And it'll just be you and James next week, because I'll be traveling, so I won't be able to be here. I think James has got some guests he's got planned, so that'll be fun. And hopefully, the week after that, I'll be back in my studio in Paris we're going to do some fun stuff with mics.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you, guys, and see you here next week. and like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and watch the videos that we're posting. Watch mine as well, because everyone seems to be watching the ones that Clint's been narrating. So watch the ones I've narrated as well, because that hurts my feelings.
And you've got a better voice than I do.
No, I don't. I think we're doing pretty well on the voice front. I think we're doing very well on the voice front and very well on the editing front as well. So we're in good hands all around. And wish James, just say hi to James as well. I have no idea where he is. Right, guys.
Is he?
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going. Is James here? And also, Edward, you put out a lot of articles. I don't know if you've plugged those enough on this show, because I think maybe some people just think you're a YouTube personality. So I didn't know that for a long time. I was like, oh yeah, I just like this guy's show when I used to watch you before I was helping you out.
Yeah. Well, actually, what I'll do before we go is I'll share my screen. Let's share my screen. Right, entire screen. Let's do the entire screen, so you can see all of. There we go. Well, it's the Matrix. Here we go. Here, and this is the thing. Here we go. Can you see that? Can you guys all see that? Yeah. So this is the website. Here you go. You've got a lovely article here that was written by one of our freelancers, all about Shang-Chi's mid-credit scene. I tried editing that and not spoiling anything for myself. That wasn't easy. But yeah, then you got all this news here, all this stuff. So there's me and a bunch of freelancer writers that write this. Here's the whole thing that we did about Peter Rice that you can go and read now. Here's an exclusive that we did about Bane, project in the works for HBO Max. So yeah, and then we've got reviews and stuff like that. So you can go and check that all out over at small-screen.co.uk. And then I will remove. How do you stop sharing? Stop sharing. There you go. Yeah, so you can go and do that. That'd be brilliant if you could go over to the website as well, which is actually it's doing pretty well. Yeah, it's doing pretty well, and people putting very nice comments in there. And just spam the articles in the chat. Yeah, everyone should just spam articles in the chat. And Chrysler says, I see the articles on Facebook all the time. I'm sorry about that, Chrysler. I'm sorry. And Jedi Master EJ says, a lot of good articles online. Thank you very much. Right, and now with that, we'll say
see
goodbye.
You later.
Yeah.
What?